If you only train two things for longevity, it would be Zone 2 and VO2 max. Today I'll show you exactly how to use both, week after week, so your heart, lungs, vessels, and mitochondria get better at the one job that predicts lifespan shockingly well, delivering and using oxygen. Here's the promise. By the end of this video you'll know what Zone 2 actually feels like, how to layer short, strategic VO2 max intervals without wrecking your recovery, and how to build a realistic weekly plan whether you're busy, over 60, or just getting back into training. No math degree required, no lab treadmill needed. Quick request before we dive in. If longevity blueprints like this help you, hit like and subscribe so we can keep building practical, evidence-first tools for you. And check the description for our book plus a short list of useful training and hydration tools, picked to match today's plan. Let's get on the same page with two definitions really quickly. Cardiorespiratory fitness, CRF, is how well your heart, lungs, blood, and muscles deliver and use oxygen during sustained exercise. VO2 max is simply the ceiling, the maximum amount of oxygen your body can use during all-out work, usually measured in milliliters per kilogram per minute. Why should you care about a number you can't see? Because higher VO2 max is consistently linked with lower risk of dying from anything, lower cardiovascular events, and better outcomes across a lot of chronic diseases. Move that number up, and your long-term risk line moves down. Now, what is Zone 2? Think of training zones as intensity bands. In a common 5-zone model, Zone 2 sits just below your first, red line, where lactate begins to rise. It feels like comfortable but purposeful effort, breathing deeper, warm but controlled, where you can talk in full sentences without gasping. Here's the simplest field test. Warm up for 5 to 10 minutes, then ease the pace up until you can carry on a conversation in full sentences but you definitely feel like you're exercising. That is your Zone 2 feel. If you like numbers, most people land around 70 to 80% of their maximum heart rate there, but always calibrate against the talk test. What does Zone 2 do for longevity? It lets you accumulate a lot of minutes with low stress, which is ideal for building your aerobic base. Over time this improves mitochondrial efficiency, increases fat oxidation, and enhances capillary networks in muscle, making oxygen delivery and use more efficient at everyday speeds. There's also an autonomic effect worth chasing. Moderate continuous work tends to improve parasympathetic tone and heart rate variability, your rest and recover wiring, especially if you were previously inactive. This is why Zone 2 feels like insurance. It's not flashy, but it's the foundation that makes everything else easier. But let's be honest with the current evidence. Zone 2 isn't a magic intensity that beats everything for every adaptation. You usually see the biggest VO2 max jumps when you also include some higher intensity work that pushes you toward your ceiling. Enter VO2 max intervals. These are short bouts where you're breathing hard, talking in fragments, and your heart rate climbs toward 85 to 95% of max by the end of each effort. They strengthen the heart muscle, expand plasma volume, and coax your mitochondria and vasculature to handle high flow. The trick is dose and design. You don't need daily HIIT to get the benefits. In fact, please don't. 1 or 2 well-placed sessions per week, layered onto a base of Zone 2, is the blend that consistently drives progress without frying your recovery. So how do you put this together in a week you can actually live? Start with the longevity gold standard template for generally healthy 40 to 70-year-olds. Aim for 3 to 4 Zone 2 sessions of 30 to 45 minutes each, plus 1, maybe 2, short VO2 max sessions, and keep your daily steps humming in the 7,000 to 10,000 range. Here's what that looks like in real life. Monday, Zone 2 for about 40 minutes, brisk uphill walk, easy cycling, or an incline treadmill at full sentence pace. Tuesday, strength training for 30 to 45 minutes, because muscles are your full insurance and your glucose sink. Wednesday, a VO2 max day, Warm up for 10 minutes, then try 4 repeats of 4 minutes, hard but controlled, each followed by 3 minutes easy spinning or walking. Cool down for 5 to 10 minutes and you're done. Total time, roughly 35 to 40 minutes, with 16 minutes of real work inside. Thursday is a light movement day. Accumulate steps, do mobility, keep stress low. Friday, back to zone 2 for 30 to 45 minutes. Saturday, go a little longer but easier, a 45 to 60 minute hike, mellow bike ride, or long walk with hills. Sunday, off or very light activity and plenty of sleep. That template lands you around 180 to 220 minutes of zone 2-ish work, plus your interval stimulus. What if you're slammed for time? Then use the time-crunched minimum to protect your future self without living in the gym. Do 2 30-minute zone 2 sessions, commute walks count, and 2 short interval sessions of 10 to 15 minutes each. For intervals on busy days, think simple. Hop on a bike or find a hill, and do 10 rounds of 1 minute hard, 1 minute easy. If you're deconditioned, try 6 rounds of 30 seconds brisk, 90 seconds gentle, and build from there. If you're rebuilding or 60 plus, we'll be conservative and smart. Start with 4 to 6 days per week of 10 to 20 minutes of brisk walking at an easy RPE of 2 to 3 out of 10, and build to steady 20 to 30 minute sessions. When that feels comfortable, keep 3 to 4 zone 2 sessions each week, and add a few strides once weekly, brief 30-second pickups with full recovery. Later, introduce a true VO2 style day every 7 to 10 days. Keep the intervals short, maybe 3 repeats of 2 minutes, hard but controlled, with long recoveries, and respect how you feel the next day. Progress should feel like curiosity, not punishment. Let's talk measurement without making your brain hurt. To find your zone 2 in the wild, lead with the talk test, then use heart rate as a sanity check. If you can speak comfortably in long sentences, you're probably there. If your heart rate drifts up by 10 to 15 beats at the same pace and your speech shrinks to short phrases, you're leaking into zone 3. Dial it back. For VO2 max intervals, you're aiming to finish each work bout near breathless, with only a few words possible. Your heart rate might rise into the upper 80s to low 90s% of max by the end of the interval, then fall into the 60 to 70% range during recovery. Wearables estimate VO2 max from your runs and walks. Treat the number as a compass, not a courtroom verdict. Now the key myth busters so you don't fall for internet absolutism. First, zone 2 is the only thing that matters. It's fantastic base work, but not uniquely superior for every adaptation. Second, I can skip base and just do HIIT. You can, for a couple of weeks, then fatigue, plateaus, and cranky joints arrive on schedule. Third, steps are enough. Steps are wonderful and we love them, but 2 people with the same step count can have very different VO2 max, and very different risk. Fourth, too much fitness is dangerous. Being extremely aerobically fit is consistently associated with lower mortality. That doesn't mean abuse the gas pedal forever. It means if you build fitness thoughtfully, there's no evidence of a ceiling effect where being fitter suddenly becomes bad. Safety, because longevity is a long game. If you have chest pain, unexplained shortness of breath, known heart disease, uncontrolled blood pressure, or you're on multiple cardiac medications, talk to your clinician before adding vigorous intervals. For most people, starting with walking and building to zone 2 aligns well with major guidelines, and supervised programs are a great bridge when you're older or managing conditions. Let's make this immediately usable with a 10-minute, find your zone 2, test you can do tomorrow. Warm up 5 minutes, then increase pace until your breathing deepens but the conversation stays intact. Glance at your heart rate and note the number. That's your zone 2 anchor. Keep it for 30 minutes next time, and watch how your heart rate behaves across the session. Next, schedule your intervals. Pick one day and put 4 times 4 on the calendar, or if you're new, 10 times 1. That one appointment will do more for your VO2 max than 20 vague intentions. A few pro tips to keep your adherence high. Pair Zone 2 with content you enjoy, podcasts, audiobooks, phone-free time, and it becomes the best part of your day. Stack intervals after a short warm-up and before dinner so you're not caffeinating at 8 p.m. and wrecking your sleep. Fuel simply. You don't need gels for Zone 2. You do need hydration and electrolytes if it's hot, and enough protein across the day to recover from both cardio and lifting. And yes, 2 days of strength training still live in this blueprint. Muscle is longevity hardware, cardio is longevity software. You want both. Here's your closing checklist. Know what Zone 2 feels like. Schedule 1 interval session. Hit 7,000 to 10,000 steps most days. Lift twice a week. Sleep on rails so adaptations stick. If today's blueprint helped, tap like and subscribe. It tells the algorithm this is the kind of health content that should be seen. Open the description for our week-by-week book and a short set of vetted tools for hydration, monitoring, and rucking so your Zone 2 walks double as strength-building carries. And in the comments, tell me which plan you're starting with, Gold Standard, Time Crunched, or Rebuild, and I'll reply with a micro tweak to make it yours. You don't need a lab to train for longevity. You need one calm zone, one spicy session, and a calendar. I'll see you next workout.